Hi guys, had a bit of a busy week with the pond this week. Nothing's really been going that well, to be honest. So just before we had all the hot weather, or sort of on the first day of the hot weather, I probably got a little bit carried away with feeding, and I had a little bit of an issue with nitrite slightly raised. So I sort of stopped feeding my fish, and then the very next day they spawned again. I don't know if you can see the Crashkoi now looks really empty, along with this Yamabuki Ogon as well. Got a couple of clips of them spawning, so I'll tag that on in a second. Anyway, as you just saw, when they spawned, they made a right mess of the fry net that I had in the corner. Absolutely plastered it in eggs, and then because of that, I had an ammonia and nitrite spike. So I decided I'm going to move the koi fry out of the main pond and back into the tank for now, because I've had to not feed these for I think about 5 days now. I gave them some food for the first time today because the parameters are back to normal, and I've just put in their second treatment, Fluke Solve. I've seen a couple flash while I've been recording this video. They haven't been flashing up until now, but I've literally just put the Fluke Solve in. That's why the water's a bit cloudy, so I think that's what's causing them to do it. I did actually do some scrapes on a couple of fish earlier in the week, and they did all come up clean, thankfully, so fingers crossed on top of the flukes now. But yeah, they're not very happy about this treatment anyway. My Shiba, that was looking a bit worse for wear in the last video, the raised scales it had have all sort of gone down, and I don't know how well you can see that, the water's a bit cloudy, but it is mostly white on the side now, which I think is tissue regrowing. It certainly looks a lot less red than it did. It has lost quite a few scales from there, so I don't know how well it's going to heal up. I should imagine it's going to have a bit of a nasty scar, but it doesn't look like it's going to die anyway, and it certainly doesn't seem bothered with it. It's feeding well earlier today. But yeah, they're just not happy now because I've just put the second dose of Fluke Solve in. Anyway, we'll take a look at the koi fry now, see how they're getting on. So this is all of the koi fry now back in the tank. I think because I was having so many problems in the main tank, I've put them all back in here, and I think I'm just going to move some of these on and just make a bit more space for them. I've just got too many really, and I don't want to jeopardise the fish in my main pond by sort of overloading the filters with these. But there's some really nice fish in here. I'll bowl a couple up and we'll have a bit of a closer look at them. But I've still got quite a lot after the incident I have with lots of them escaping. But I don't know if you can see, compared to my last video, the ones that stayed in the tank for 2 weeks substantially bigger than the ones that were out in the main pond. It's amazing how much the other ones grew when the numbers were reduced. I'm not sure whether they're gonna carry on growing with this many back in the tank now, but we'll see how they get on. So the other day the main pond actually got up to 25 degrees, and then I tested the temperature in here. The heater's set at 24, but because it was so hot, it was actually 29 degrees in this fry tank. There's plenty of air going in. It's a reasonably powerful air pump on this tank, so I didn't lose any because of it. But yeah, they all seem to be doing pretty well. There's a couple in particular which are getting a pretty good size now. I should think there's one pretty big one in particular. I'm not sure if I can find it, which I reckon must be at least 5 centimetres now. In fact, there it is. That one just there. Because I've put the small ones back into the tank, I've been having a few issues with the bigger ones eating some of the smaller ones, but I've got to cut the numbers down a bit, so I'm just going to kind of let it happen. But if anybody wants some koi fry and is anywhere close to Northampton, send me a message and I'm sure we can sort something out. I've just got far too many. I've got to move them on. So just bowled up a few of the fry, just have a little look, sort of a bit of a closer look. It's just a bit of a random selection, apart from the big one there, which I sort of specifically wanted to have a little look at. You can sort of see they're starting to get some colours. There's this one just here, it's got a black dot on its head. I'm not sure what that means it's going to turn out like, but I'll have to wait and see. And this one here, it looks like it's just starting to get some red coming through. So you can see a bit on its head, a bit on its dorsal, and then a bit towards its tail as well. And a few of these dark ones have got quite a nice metallic sort of sheen to them. This biggest one now, it's got to be about, I don't know, maybe 5 centimetres now. Probably the average size of them is about 2 centimetres ish now. But yeah, they're doing well. It's going to be interesting to see how they all get on. But yeah, this big one is looking like it's going to be a sort of big Krashegoy, I think. But yeah, really interesting. And they've been feeding really well and growing really quick since the numbers have been thinned down a little bit. So I've just put a load of brine shrimp in for the fry. I don't know if you can see them all in there, but there you go. They go absolutely mad for the brine shrimp. I normally have 2 bottles set up, and they take sort of about just over 24 hours before they hatch out, so they sort of get one lot of brine shrimps like this, sometimes 2 a day. And then I'm also feeding them with a stage 1 koi fry food a couple of times a day as well. I've only actually got a couple of days left, left of brine shrimp, and I'm either going to have to order some more, or I might sort of try them on frozen bloodworm. I think most of them are probably big enough to eat that now. I can get frozen bloodworm from my work quite cheap, so I think that might be the way forward. It's a bit less hassle to prepare than the brine shrimps, although they've been growing really well on them. But yeah, really happy with how the fry are coming on. I've had no issues with water quality in this tank at all. The K1 moving bottles are doing a great job, although they're not actually moving as well anymore, but the water's staying good anyway. But it is a lot of hard work. I do a water change on this tank every day. I do 20% water change every day, as well as cleaning out the sponges. And then every couple of days I get just a bit of 6mm airline and sort of make a siphon and siphon up sort of any rubbish that's on the floor. And yeah, every time I've tested this tank, ammonia and nitrite have been nil all the time, and I get really good hardness, KH from the tap water, so I don't have to worry about that at all. But yeah, they were growing really well a couple of weeks. You can see all the bigger ones that are in there now are the ones that were in the tank sort of all along, and yeah, most of the smaller ones now are the ones that went outside. But now I'm looking at them all back in here. I've got a few more than I thought I had, but I'll probably get some of the smaller ones moved on. I think with all the problems I'm having with the main pond, I don't want to keep too many. Just want to keep a few to grow on. It is only sort of meant as a bit of fun, really. But hopefully I'm over the worst of the problems with the main pond now. The water parameters seem to be back where I want them, and I'm starting to give them some food again. So hopefully we're on the right track, and hopefully the flukes are gone now anyway. But we'll see how everything goes on the next few weeks. But yeah, I might have a new project on the go soon. I was meant to be getting married in September, but due to coronavirus, that's had to be pushed back till next year. So I was planning on extending my main pond outside next year, but it looks like I might be able to do it this year now. So keep your eyes peeled over the next few weeks, possibly months, and might have some videos on a new build. We'll see. And yeah, if anybody's interested in some koi fry, let me know. I'm starting to see a few patterns and colours on some of them. They've grown really well the last few weeks. I'm really happy with how they're getting on. Yeah, if anybody's got any comments, leave them below, and see everyone on the next video. Thanks, bye.